Hello YouTube, this is Damar1079 coming at you with another World of Warship video and another one of me top 5 videos. And I know at this rate I should have gone from battleships, cruisers, aircraft carriers to destroyer, but since technically there are at least two other branches or type of ships in this game, which would be the Battlecruisers and the battle carriers, which there's only like four of them, so I won't do that video until there's like five, or maybe we get other ones like some of the conversion ships for the Japanese Navy, so it's not all American, which primarily this one is almost all British, except for one, which if you play the game or have it, you know which one I'm talking about. But here's pretty much my top 5, starting the list at pretty much number 5, I think, is HMS Tiger. She is at the bottom because, well, to me, even though, yes, she is a good ship, but she's only armed with, I believe, the 13.5-inch guns, which then were upgraded for when they were ordered for the Japanese Navy as the Congo class to 14-inch guns. So this is just a little bit down from it, which, if I'm not mistaken, I did do a battle between the Tiger and the Congos with my buddy Driven. So if you've not seen that, go look and see what you think of those results, since they're kind of similar. Her, unlike her, I guess, cousin ship, is got 4 torpedo tubes, 2 on each side, and also for even a tier 4, a quite good ship indeed, I think, especially with a decent anti-aircraft defense for when she was technically built, even though I don't think she participated in World War II. She does have some anti-aircraft, so she can go against like tier 3 aircraft carriers, maybe tier 5 if you have a buddy that up-tiered you. Let us go on to the next class of battle cruiser, which is the first, well, second battle cruiser in the game, HMS Repulse. One that I was happy, and I pretty much guessed, since she was a Halloween gift ship, like, oh, you have to get this special currency to get her. I pretty much thought right after, we're getting British battle cruisers. If we have Repulse, we're going to get Renown, which means we're going to get the battle cruiser line. And she is a quite good ship. She has 8 torpedo tubes, 4 on each side, and she also is a quite good ship against like lightly armored cruisers and destroyers with those guns and all that. She's not as good as her sister ship that is on this tier list, but if for, say, one of technically the 3 Renown class battle cruisers that you can get in this game, Renown, Repulse, and Resistance, this one is a good ship to add to the collection if you like having pretty much ships that actually existed. So, or you're like me that likes to have the sister ship with, if I can get it, lightly armed with anti-aircraft guns. So pretty much like in her own videos, she will succumb to a good aircraft carrier, unless you have other ships, like the next one on this list, her sister ship, Renown, that is refitted for World War II and well armed with anti-aircraft guns and secondary batteries. Much like her sister ship, she's armed with torpedo tubes, and actually, now that I think of it, no, my mistake. It just looked like it because one of the other, like, higher up tree ones, she has torpedo tubes. She has 4 on each side. I don't know why they didn't give Repulse her torpedo tubes. Maybe then they'd have to up tier her, maybe, but who knows. Yes, she does have the 4 torpedo tubes, exactly where Repulse has them. That's why I said it even though I should know better. My apologies on that one. A good tier 5, and actually a really good contender for that she could have been in the top 3. Well, actually, she is in the top 3, my mistake. Why she's in the contender as the top 3 Battlecruisers in this game, since she's heavily armed, she's fast. Granted, all Battlecruisers don't have armor, but in a lot of good games, I've made it in the top 4, the top 3 to almost number 1 on the leaderboard in standard battles on a good game with Repulse here. So she is a good ship to have. And of course, it can't be a Battlecruiser tier list without the most famous Battlecruiser of them all, HMS Hood. At tier 6, the most heavily armed Battlecruiser that ever sailed the seas, and, well, the biggest Royal Navy ship at her time of commission, and was the little anti-aircraft guns of prototype rocket launchers for anti-aircraft gun defense. She is armed with the 15-inch guns. She's got 4 of them, which means that the class that she's going to be the next to alongside, since the battleship is usually bigger and more powerful than the battlecruiser, that means this was going to be a good little arms race again until the Washington Naval Treaty scrapped it. No torpedo tubes. She does have her little hood thing there. Once again, you get in a good battle, she's a good ship, she'll take care of you. You get in the wrong circumstances and in a bad game, you will get destroyed in this ship pretty easily. Pretty much the curse of a battlecruiser. Armed with like a battleship, but mainly meant to go after like heavy cruisers and light cruisers. Battleship if necessary. But yeah, had to put her on this list since she is the first battlecruiser in the game, alongside that of the second battlecruiser, Repulse. But the number 1 that takes the spot is the bigger, more heavily armed American battlecruiser, the Constellation. A heavily armed American battlecruiser ready and waiting for World War II. She is part of the Lexington class, which was supposed to be the Americans' first ever battlecruiser, but they were converted into aircraft carriers, which were the biggest up until the Midway class of first generation super carriers. See, she's armed with pretty much the 16-inch guns found on the Carolina class battleships. It's got 4 of them. She's also got torpedo tubes, which is quite rare for a battleship, for a battle cruiser, or any type of American ship that is not a low-tier cruiser, or any other destroyer. You can see she's heavily armed to the teeth with anti-aircraft gun, so if the ship were to have existed, she definitely would have been escort duty, and also hunting down Japanese heavy cruisers, I think, instead of maybe the Alaska class of heavy cruisers. So, or escorting convoy duty in the Atlantic, since of her speed, since at the time this would have been the fastest ship until the commissioning of the Iowa class, because let me see if I'm not mistaken. Yes, 33.3 knots. This ship would have outpaced the North Carolina, the South Dakota class. She would have only been on par with speed with the Iowa class. Granted, she, at that point, would have been built in the early 20s. So if they did keep her around, if the Washington Naval Treaty and she was not scrapped, she probably would have, the Lexington class would have probably potentially looked like this if they at least got one hull in the water completed. They would have kept at least one would have been converted, I think. And this one would have been the fastest, most heavily armed unit that they probably would have had. until the Iowa class, which then it's like the thing of, let me know what you think. Do you think they would have still built the Alaskas if we had one Lexington class battlecruiser? Let me know. A good little piece of thinking I got you going on. But there it is, my top five battle cruisers in the game. Maybe down the line they will add more hybrid ships besides the American battle carriers, to where I can also then like add a hybrid branch of ships. Like, oh, here's some of the Japanese conversions too to go alongside it, to where like this video it's primarily British since they actually had battle cruisers, except for this one. But let me know your thoughts below on that. Should they add like the Japanese conversion ships as a alternate premium, as a premium ship or something, like they do with some, like, oh, here's Belfast and here's 43 Belfast for an example. Let me know. But on that note, I want to thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe and hit that bell to notify you anytime that I post a video or go live. And please leave your comments down below and tell me, out of all the battle cruisers that we have in the game that you can get for coins or premium or doubloons, which one is your favorite, or which one is your favorite battle cruiser of all? Let me know. And as always, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I shall catch y'all in the next one. See ya.